No intro, Carrie? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coffee and KO show presented by the MMA Stooges. As you can tell, a little bit off on a Monday. This is probably where I'm going to be on Mondays here for a little while due to some extracurricular activities. But anyway, we got Steve back. Steve, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. It's actually been a little bit of a challenge now that I'm not a part of the recap show, because I do watch those main events and I just get all fired up, and then I just kind of like look around and I'm like, damn, I can't express how I'm feeling right now, but doing the recap show definitely helps do that. But that was a great card we just had.
Yeah, I mean, for one, you're more than welcome to come on. It's not like you have to be a main part of it forever, but if there's ever a card you want to come back, come back.
I was close.
That was a phenomenal card. What a story. Charles Oliveira, we talked on it on the recap, man. Like, I don't know that there's a guy in the UFC in all the years that I've watched that I'm more happy for than him. One, because it makes us look like geniuses because we predicted it. But also, it's just, you know, I said it and I can't really explain it. There's just something about the Brazilian champion, man. Like, it's just something about the Brazilian champion that gets me hyped up, you know, like Aldo, guys like that. And Charles Oliveira, a guy who's been around forever. He's got the submission record. He's 31, and let's be honest, for such a new sport, he's already a Hall of Famer. That cemented his Hall of Fame legacy at this point. The fight night bonuses that he has doesn't get talked about. I think in like his last however many fights, he's gotten a bonus. Almost every single time he's gotten a win on this win streak, it's been a bonus. No one talks about that. No one talks about anything with Charles Oliveira. Even the UFC didn't even promote him. That's insane.
Exactly. And that's like what we've been saying literally this whole time is like, this dude is just flying under the radar, finishing everyone. And granted, you know, the list kind of got a little bit better and better as it went on. Like Kevin Lee was a good win. Then obviously the Tony win was big, and that put him on the map to be like, okay, he's a real contender. And then he goes out there, gets it done in incredible fashion against a super tough Michael Chandler. I was all into that. I was scared as hell. I thought for sure Chandler was getting the round 2 finish. Charles Oliveira digs deep, gets the job done. I'm pumped for him. And yeah, his legacy is going to live on for a long time because he has some insane records that he holds.
He put his work boots on.
He did it. He gave it to him.
I just wanted to acknowledge Carrie's wife commented, "Why am I sitting outside of their house?" I am not sitting outside of your house. This house actually has siding. Your house currently doesn't have any siding. And I'm sitting in my car because I am actually currently – I have baseball later. I'm a baseball coach. And on Mondays, we start practice today, first practice. So I am grinding it out in my vehicle. I actually had to drive to my sister's house to get any sort of connection because she lives by this field. Because up by us, like, there is only service in certain areas, and this happens to be one. So I had to drive all the way up here. But we're making it work, and I'm pumped. Another good card on the horizon, but a lot of fight announcements too were announced this past week.
Yeah, we had rate that matchup. I got like 4 or 5 that we can talk about, and I know, kind of for the sake of time, we don't have to get too into it, but I definitely want to go over some of the bigger ones. So the first one here, this is a July 17th fight night. Islam Makhachev taking on Thiago Moises. I know you guys touched upon this one a little bit. Moises has looked really good in the UFC. I think he's turned a lot of heads, but I mean, he's definitely biting off way more than he can handle in this one. Islam is going to basically run through him. I don't know what the next fight is for him, but it's got to be a top 5 guy, but I see Islam kind of running through him. Moises does have a background on the ground, so maybe it's a little bit competitive, but I'm like a 2.5 here for me.
No, I feel like it's like a 3. I like Thiago Moises. I like Islam. I do agree. I think that Islam probably ragdolls him. I think what sucks most, which I touched on in another video, was the thing that sucks the most is Moises is only 26, 25, like super young yet. And he's looked great. But what sucks is this is now going to put a loss on his record. You know, I guess anything can happen. I guess we can't assume. We can assume that, but I guess we shouldn't say that. But if all things go well, Islam Makhachev has obviously been labeled the next guy up to be the champ. And if all things go that way, now you have Thiago Moises, who's now 25 with a loss on his record. That I just think it's too soon. I think I really like his skill set. I really do think that he has a bright future in the UFC. He has a swagger about him that I really like as well. But Islam Makhachev is that next level. And as we say all the time on this show, there's levels to this game. And right now, Islam Makhachev, the only reason he's not fighting guys in the top 10 is because no one wants to fight him. Because most of these guys are older guys. Like you look at RDA. RDA takes that fight and loses. He's never in his mind. He still thinks he's a title contender. If he takes that fight and loses, he's now done. You know, I think us that watch that watch UFC but don't fight, obviously as an outsider looking in, we can all say that RDA probably has no shot in that division. But in his mind, as a fighter, you know, he's going to think that he can win. And why would he take a fight that probably is going to lose, you know, and now be basically bounced out of the top 10 and be a gatekeeper forever? So no one wants to fight him. You know, Paul Felder said no too, which Paul Felder already has come to terms with the fact he's never going to be a champ. He wants money fights, which I'm all for. So hats off to Paul Felder for even recognizing that. But yeah, I like the fight. Whenever we get to see Islam Makhachev to the point where it reminds us how good he is, I'm all for it. I think it's a tougher fight for him than the Drew Dober fight, if I'm being honest with you. But I still think he handily wins the fight.
Yeah, it's probably going to be. I'm probably on more leaning towards Steve's side. It's probably like a 2.5 for me right now. Not because I don't think Thiago Moises has like potential, because he definitely does. It's just Islam has been well overdue a fight in the top 10. Hell, at this point, maybe even the top 5. Like, dude has just run through all of his competition as of recent times. Probably he shouldn't still be in the realm of prospects, especially at 155. The RDA got offered the title, or didn't get offered the title fight, but RDA got offered the fight and essentially was just like, I mean, I'll take it if there's a giant incentive for me and I get to fight Khabib or something. And it's just like, yes, I understand you're older, but at the same time, like, what are we doing? Also with Paul Felder as well, like, I understand you don't want to fight, like, I guess, young upcoming contenders, like, you just want big fights. Then, like, take you out of the rankings then. Just book you, because now you have a young, hungry, up-and-coming fighter that's missing opportunities to go up against higher-level competition because you just want to turn him. Like, I don't know. I felt like that was really – that's pretty annoying, to be honest with you. But I'm excited we get to see Islam fight, and that's probably the reason why. And also, Thiago Moises isn't a bad – I'll bump it up to a 3, Zach. Now that I get your point. Like, I'm excited to see the fight, you know? If that's booked on a card, I'm more excited to see that than Caitlin Chukagian, you know? So yeah, it's exciting. I'm pretty bitter that Islam hasn't gotten an opportunity to fight someone at his level or close to it yet.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, a lot of these guys are ducking that fight, but all roads are going to lead to Islam at some point. Yeah. So if they are going to want the big fight, like, his name's going to be in that conversation, whether they like it or not. Like, they're going to have to force someone to fight this man after he gets this win. Yeah,
I think this fight, and then also like Sean O'Malley's fight. Like, after if Islam runs through Moises, and then Sean O'Malley runs through Louis Smolka, like, you should see both of them fighting up against a top 15, top 10 guy. Like, no excuse after that. Like, it should happen. Man, book Islam versus Gregor Gillespie so he can let all of y'all down. I'm excited. No.
That would be bad for him, but the Dariush fight would have been great. If they booked Dariush Islam, that would have been an awesome fight, but we get Thiago Moises. So
yeah, well, Dariush is out for the rest of the year. He's having a kid. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I did want to take the second to give an on-air congratulations to you, Kieran, on your your deal or whatever you want to call it, your job with Haymakers. So
thank you, man.
Shout out to you, man, and Coffee and KOs / MMA Stooges are proud to have you as one of the Stooges. So congrats to you, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm definitely got to finish editing a video tonight. So and I spent all night last night trying to record. So well, it's been a fun time, but it's a great opportunity. I appreciate it.
There you go. All right. So the next one on the list here, we get an August 14th headliner. This is Derek Brunson taking on Darren Till. This is an awesome fight. I'm very excited about this one. Derek Brunson has just been really, I guess, maybe disappointing a lot of people. A lot of people keep picking against him, and he's always like the underdog in these situations, and he comes out on top. He has an amazing wrestling background that he uses a lot. Darren Till, we haven't really seen him fight. Just a lot of, weird things going on with COVID, injuries, that type of stuff. But it's good, always good to see Darren Till in the news here. I love this fight. I mean, if it goes to the ground, it's a snooze fest. I don't really see it going like that. I think Till can maybe hold him off a little bit, or he could even just knock him out straight up. That could certainly happen. So I think this will be a fun fight. I'm going to give this one like a 4.
This is a 5 for me. I am a Darren Till fan. I've been a Darren Till fan forever. The man is hysterical. I love the way he fights. I love the shit talk. I love the Instagram lives with other fighters. We have an Instagram live with Khamzat Chimaev where he pulls a knife on him. It's Darren Till is one of the most odd dudes in the UFC, but he's absolutely hysterical. And I hate how much shit he gets. He gets shit on all the time by all these people, a.k.a. Aaron, which I love you, Aaron, but Darren Till is so much better than people give him credit for. People think that he's awful, that he's one-dimensional. He's since moving up, this is the weight class he needs to be in. I don't care that he lost to Robert Whittaker. I thought he put on a great performance against Robert Whittaker.
It's Robert Whittaker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he put on a good performance. He stood toe-to-toe with potentially the best guy in that division. Him and Izzy are very close. So I love Darren Till. I love his fight style. This is the division he needs to be in. I really do think that he is a threat to most people in that division. His striking is so good. His bad losses mostly are at a weight class in which he was depleted in. He looks so much better now. And again, he stood toe-to-toe with Robert Whittaker. Okay?
Nearly finished him.
Nearly finished Robert Whittaker. I don't think Derek Brunson is taking down Darren Till. I think that Robert Whittaker's wrestling is way better than Derek Brunson's. I think that Darren Till and Derek Brunson has zero chin. Zero chin. He was rocked against Kevin Holland. The only reason Kevin Holland didn't win that fight is because he is a shit wrestler with bad takedown defense. Darren Till's a big dude for the division. He'll be able to stuff takedowns. I'm all in on Darren Till. I think he wins this fight easy. I think that this is an easy win for Darren Till. I give it a 5.
So everyone's saying, though. Wow. Everyone says that against Derek Brunson, man.
Yeah,
proves them wrong. Time in and time out.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that with Kevin Holland though, because we all knew what was going to happen.
He's going to get messed up against Kevin Holland, but that's Kevin Holland.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this fight for me, it's a 5. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. I mean, Derek Brunson has been on a tear recently, just overcoming the odds. I mean, not the Kevin Holland fight. Well, actually, no. The Kevin Holland fight we didn't know. It was the Vettori fight that we knew. Yes, yeah, a lot of people were picking Kevin Holland to win. Yeah,
everyone picked Holland except me. I was the only one on this show who picked Brunson.
Yeah, Steve was on top of it. You know, he likes the. Yeah. But no, I think when you go back and look through Darren Till's career, I mean, this is the first legitimate wrestling threat that he has to deal with. That I mean, obviously Tyron Woodley was there, was a legitimate wrestling threat, but it wasn't anything compared to what Derek Brunson is bringing to the table, especially at 170 when he's outsizing the man by however many pounds. I mean, I have a picture of me standing next to Darren Till. I'm 6'3.5", and he's at least 6'1", 6'2". He's a giant human being. But Yeah, I think I'm really excited for this fight. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone's making it out to be. Obviously, on the feet, I don't think it's a competition. I think Darren Till is much quicker, much more technical, is pretty much going to have his way with Derek Brunson. But at the same time, like I said, this is the biggest wrestling threat that he's going to have. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot for him to handle. And I want to see if he can, because he's usually just outsizing his opponents, staying up against the fence, and getting him off in that regard. But now you have someone that's wrestled with Yoel Romero, taking him down multiple times, out-wrestled his last two opponents who were, up-and-coming elite striking prospects, just like Darren Till was as of recently, But I'm still picking Darren Till in that fight. I just want to see how he performs. I think if he performs well and stays on the feet against Brunson, you have a serious contender, and we get to shit talk Aaron, which will just be wonderful.
Yeah, that pays dividends in its own right. Yeah, 100%. And if Derek Brunson goes out and gets this win,
title shot.
He's title shot.
Yeah,
he's a title shot guy for sure.
If I'm Derek Brunson, I'm not taking another fight.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take another fight until I get a title shot if I beat Darren Till.
What and Izzy finished Derek Brunson
so did Whitaker
3 years
bad.
ago.
Whitaker did bad too.
Yeah.
That doesn't go well for him, if we're being honest.
No, but then if Darren Till loses as well,
he gets there though. That's nice. You never know. We all thought Michael Bisping was going to lose to Luke Rockhold whenever he fought him the second time. So you never know. But I don't see that going well for him.
I will say this though, Mike Grundy is Darren Till's wrestling coach, and we all saw how he did against Lando Venata. So,
bro, these guys in the UK, like Norton has said it, like Lewis Norton has even said it. These guys in the UK don't have any good grappling training out. Well, not grappling training, but any good wrestling training out there. It's tough. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it shows. It shows. We'll see what he can come up with. It's a big fight for both guys. I expect Till to really take this one seriously. It's his first fight in a long. What is it? A year? It's almost been a year. So we'll see. All right, next one. Paulo Costa, Jared Cannonier. This is just fireworks. This is just two dudes. Someone's getting knocked out early on round one. This is going to be. I love Jared Cannonier. He's put on a hell of a performance in his last few fights. Obviously, he lost to Robert Whitaker. Again, that's Robert Whitaker. You can say that about anyone pretty much at this point. But Paulo Costa, he might be my least favorite fighter right now. One of the more cringeworthy guys that we're seeing in the UFC right now. The dude is just an absolute clown. I would absolutely love for Jared Cannonier to go in there and knock this man out. But just the fact that it's going to be fireworks, I'm definitely giving this one a 5.
Yeah, another 5. Killer Gorilla versus the wine savant himself. I gotta say, I'm leaning Cannonier. I don't think Paulo Costa is as bad as everyone says. I just think he's a one-trick kind of guy. That's really it. He's got the power, and that's it. And I don't think it's fair to say that he stands no chance because the dude is massive. He can land one shot and take Jared Cannonier out. I think what people forget about Cannonier, though, look at that fight against another guy against Robert Whitaker, where he really got worked for the majority of the fight. And then you get to the end of the fight, and he's actually starting to lay it on Whitaker pretty good with a broken arm, nonetheless. I think that he had a little bit of jitters in that fight. I don't think he'll have that against Costa. It almost seemed like it took Jared Cannonier 4 rounds to kind of get a feel for being in the octagon against Robert Whitaker. That's not going to happen against Paulo Costa. I think he's a legit guy in that division. Legit power, a guy that fought at heavyweight and is now down to 85, which is
crazy.
Unreal.
Crazy.
I love Jared Cannonier, man, and he can't lose. He can't afford to lose. I think he's like 36 years old. He cannot afford to lose again. So I'm going with Killer Gorilla in this one, but I love the fight. It's going to be a great fight.
Yeah. I 5 for me. I mean, this is just an absolute fireworks, like you said, Steve. Paulo Costa, I think, is getting shit on a lot just because he got outstruck by one of the pound-for-pound best kickboxers on the planet. Like, it's pretty unfair whenever Izzy works you and then everyone thinks that you're bad, But
he looks so bad.
I think it's his resume.
He did look bad, but I mean, who else looked bad against Izzy? Robert Whitaker looked bad against Izzy. Yeah. Robert Whitaker didn't land shit. And he got knocked out in the same second round, just like Paulo Costa did.
At least he went down swinging, though. Costa, I don't even know if he threw more than 3 strikes in that.
Yeah, I mean, he barely landed anything. Yeah,
But
but
I think it's Paulo Costa's record, who he's beaten, and then like his shitty win against Yoel Romero, which was boring until the end, and then you had it was I thought it was boring.
I think that was a pretty
Casual
good fight,
take
if I
there.
remember.
Casual take there, Steve. Oh my! Oh no, I said Steve.
Not
Zach.
me.
No. Casual take there, Zach.
I don't know.
Oh,
I just and he he got a win over Johnny Hendricks, like big deal. I don't know. I just Johnny Hendricks of like off the roids. I don't know. I'm not huge on Costa, but I do agree that it's not fair to shit on him.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have like that elite fighter's resume. But then again, it's pretty much Robert Whitaker who has that. Maybe Jared Cannonier. What's Jared Cannonier's best one other than?
He knocked out Jack Hermansson.
Yeah, Jack Hermansson. That's what I'm thinking. It's I agree. Like, but they still have like yet to fight each other, which is what they're getting into now. But Jared Cannonier is insane. But also Paulo Costa, just if he comes out like he used to, this dude's big, walks people down and throws huge shots. I think Jared Cannonier's it's going to be a tough sell for like against him to do that. You know, Jared Cannonier is a very, very talented boxer who hits very, very hard. And I think Paulo Costa is going to have to come in with a little more patience. But I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a freaking banger of a fight, though. I think that one's surefire, like excitement. That was great matchmaking. I don't think they're going to miss. And I think the winner of that, well, obviously Whitaker's going to get the next shot. Yeah, Whitaker's going to get the next shot. But the winner of that sets themselves up nicely in the division.
And it's like if Brunson Till plays out, like those are a week apart from each other. Like that division's going to get very weird. And
yeah, because Izzy wants to fight Cannonier too. That's the one guy in the division that he hasn't already beaten. So he wants to really wipe out the entire division. So I guess him and Darren Till really, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited. Middleweight has a bunch of great matchups to make, and I'm glad they made two of them already.
I agree. I definitely agree. The next one here, also August 21st. Nice. This is going to be a good card, but Alexandre Pantoja and Brandon Royval are going to go at it. These are the little guys at 125. Royval really made a huge name for himself last year with a couple of massive wins. Pantoja, we just saw him fight Manel Kopp. He looked great. He's obviously a guy who's like kind of like a top 5 guy who's been there for a while, veteran. This is a big test for Royval to pass this one. And then, he keeps his status as a top 5 guy. But a lot of people are excited about Brandon Royval. I don't really know who's going to win this fight. Both dudes are super well-rounded. But this is a 5. Like, the 125 matchups, you could make a whole bunch of them, but a lot of those are definitely 5s across the board.
I'll go 4.5. I'm not quite to give it a 5 right away, but whenever Brandon Royval fights, it's always fireworks, whether he wins or loses. This is the thing. You got like Pantoja, who's kind of more technical, right? He's a more technical guy, where Royval is just wherever the fight goes, he's trying to win that spot. As far as if it stays on the feet, he's trying to swing and swings wild. If it's on the ground, crazy scrambles. Where Pantoja is more technical. The thing is with Royval, I think he belongs in the UFC and in that division, but I'm not going to say like he's head over heels better. I mean, his submission game is insane, but he's not like head over heels better than anyone else in that division. Like, and I think we've kind of started to see that. He puts himself in a lot of danger. He gets hurt, I feel like, in almost every fight he's been in, and then he either squeaks out the win or he ends up losing the fight, which I'm all for guys like that. I mean, he's exciting. There's never a boring fight with Brandon Royval. I'm not ready to give it a 5 yet. I think 4.5, 4 is solid, but I love the fight. I think it's going to be a great fight. I feel like I almost have to lean towards Pantoja, man. Like, Pantoja is I think he's super underrated. I love the way he fights. He's so good everywhere. I really like Pantoja a lot. I think that he's being more technical. I think he has a shot to win that fight over Royval. And Royval's chin is iffy. And again, he puts himself in compromising positions on the ground as well. So I think it's going to be a great fight, though, 100%.
I completely agree. I'm going to give it – honestly, I might give it a 5. I don't know what it's been about the flyweight division since DJ's left, but it's been ridiculously, like, exciting. Sorry. But I don't know. I mean, Pantoja, Brandon Royval, Pantoja's losses are amazing. Outside of Dustin Ortiz, like back in the day, His only 2 losses are to Davison Figueiredo and Askar Askarov, who's next up for the title shot as well. He just beat Manel Cape, who came over as a champion from Ryzen as well. He's the real deal. So is Brandon Royval. What he did to Kai Kara France was insane. He's super exciting every time he goes out there, and a lot of these flyweights are as well. So I'm really excited to see any of the top 10 flyweights go at it, and this one is no exception. So
yeah, in the Royval Moreno fight, like I think Royval's like shoulder popped out or something, and he ended up losing that fight. But
yeah,
you know, the guy can definitely scramble with anyone. He can strike. The Kai Kara France one, he almost got finished in like the first 2 minutes. Then he kind of turns that whole fight around, and that's a legitimate name to have.
Shit everywhere.
Yeah, I love that shit.
It was
man.
great.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
So I think for me that's a 5. All right, so I had a few other just like honorable mentions. We have Eric Anders, your boy, fighting Darren Stewart rematch.
0.
Did you see that UFC 263? I think
Yeah.
we don't have to rate those ones. Karen, you can't. That's one of our guys. You know that.
0. I haven't talked to him yet. I got to talk to him. I gotta give him shit. You see this flag over here? That's a 0. Okay. Well,
Hard
no, that's
0.
not a 0. No, he's a 0. That's yeah.
I'm gonna clip this and tag him in it, and I for sure know that he will answer.
Do it.
There you go. Do it.
No, that's an exciting fight though. Darren Stewart.
I will.
And him. Yeah.
I think it's funny that they're running it back. I think that's respectable on pretty much everyone's part that they're going to run that one back.
Yeah.
And then Thiago Santos taking on Johnny Walker, man. If anyone listens to this, they know that I'm just not a Johnny Walker fan whatsoever. I don't know how the dude's still ranked like top 10, but Thiago Santos, like how do you go from it does. But I mean, if you're Thiago Santos, he was just fighting Alexander Rakic. He's coming down to Johnny Walker. I think he gets a nice bounce back win with that one.
Yeah, I think Thiago Santos
It's a perfect fight.
Well, outside of his he knocked out the champion. I can't discredit him. But I'm not high on either of these guys, to be completely honest with you. I feel like Thiago Santos gets more credit for blowing out his knee and then having a competitive fight against John Jones more than his actual wins. But honestly, the Jan knockout should count for more. But yeah, his performance against Rakic, terrible. His performance against Glover, even worse. So I don't know. They both need a win. I mean, well, Johnny Walker just finished. Who did he finish?
Ryan Spann, which was a garbage win though, because Spann had him finished.
That was one of those. Yeah. That was one of those shitty. Let me put my head in that position and wear elbows situations.
that
I went off on Saturday.
You love him.
I will say though, I think Thiago Santos is going to take Johnny Walker's soul.
Yes, exactly. I'm into that. We'll see.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. That's what I know. It's just going to be wild. Well, hopefully. Jesus.
I don't think
Santos'
Johnny
last
Walker,
fight, I don't know.
But if you can wrestle like that works against Santos, Johnny Walker's just like, I'm going to do athletic flying knee shit and see if it lands.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's videos of you on the regional circuit getting KO'd by people on a regional circuit. You suck. And there's like a whole highlight reel of Johnny Walker just getting finished on a regional circuit. So he's trash bags.
Terrible chin. Terrible. And he's young.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's right. That matchup.
All right. Is there any news? I don't think there was any news.
I mean, there was like nothing really. I put some things in here, but there's like, the Anthony Rumble Johnson, he got arrested on identity theft charges. Dana White, he doesn't think that Kayla Harrison's ready for the UFC. I don't know what's going on with that, but obviously he said that she was offered, a UFC contract, but her people are saying no. And he thinks it's because they think that she's not ready.
Listen, Dana White's a punk.
Yeah. I don't know. I loved his rant on Triller, though. That was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
also, if you saw Dana White's reaction after the fight, after Oliveira won, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Out of the arena.
I reveled it all in. He got pretty pink. He got pretty red.
When they asked him on the post fight, he's like, "Yeah, Charles Oliveira's good."
Yeah, pretty much. No, you can see whenever Charles Oliveira goes out of the ring. Usually he's like, "Aha, yeah, great fight." This time he was just like, "Congratulations, man, congrats." Yeah, Charles Oliveira got his blood all over his fat pink head. It was great.
Oh boy. It's Connor, number 1 on the Forbes highest paid athletes list. You guys see that? Raking in
And
a
he fought
cool
once last year.
$180 million. But yeah,
Apparently-
he's an athlete.
Yeah. Rumor is apparently part of the share that he sold for proper
12.
and a very, very large amount of money. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
dude is so fucking rich.
Yeah, no, like 7. No, not 7. What was it? In the 9-figure range. For
Really?
that one. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Whatever.
And he just had his
Keep
he just
winning.
had another kid. So round of applause for Conor McGregor.
There you go.
His pull-out game is weak, sex game strong, and his ability to make children is very, very good.
There we go.
How many more
man.
years until we see baby McGregor in the octagon?
Shit, as soon as that kid turns 18, it seems like maybe. Yeah,
Dana's
junior.
counting down the
kids-
days.
Those kids don't need to do a damn thing the rest of
No.
their lives. And
Yeah,
their
they're all
kids'
good.
kids are all set. And their kids' are all set.
Yeah, he is so rich.
The man has supplied.
His kids will probably be shit athletes because that's how it always works, man.
The sons and daughters of greatness.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We're starting to see a couple of those NFL guys come up. Some of the sons. Randy
Yeah.
Moss, Deion
Asante
Sanders,
Samuel Jr.
Asante Samuel. There
He's
you
in
go.
the NFL
Dude,
now.
Randy Moss's kid is on the practice squad. He's trash.
Oh, is
Hey,
he?
he was cold though. He's just an undersized tight end, but he's good. He's a good player. Randy Moss's son.
Yeah.
Thaddeus.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah,
He plays big
He
schools.
won- yeah, he
UCLA
He won a
or
national
LSU.
championship. Yeah, he was one of the best tight ends in the country in
He
college.
he's on the Redskins practice squad last year.
Huh.
Or sorry, Washington football team.
All right. Well,
That's a whole mess right there.
yeah.
And I digress.
Sorry.
Do you want to get into the picks?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's get into the picks.
Kieran,
I
what are
know
you eating?
Yeah, what are you eating? Tacos?
So Texas staple, Buc-ee's have different types of candy. These are Sour Power candy belts. I literally, I'm trying to wake myself up as much as possible. I worked out and then took a shower, then laid down in my bed. I was about to make a couple videos, and then I woke up 2 hours later. So, yeah,
Nice.
You're the
fun
king
time.
of the nap.
I really am.
King of the nap.
I stay energetic like nonstop though. I don't have times
know
when I'm
if-
not on go.
You and Carrie would be a really good nap off. Carrie takes a lot of naps.
I can outnap anyone on this planet, and I
I
really
don't know.
believe that.
I don't know, Carrie. You might want to join in.
I'm
here.
talking about 5-hour naps where you wake up and you have sweat in areas you didn't know was possible to sweat.
A nap off might be the least electric content you can make.
Honestly.
Nap off.
Yeah.
Let's
Who
send
has
it
the
to
biggest
Vegas. We'll get
headache
some betting
afterwards?
odds on it.
That's what I
Yeah.
like. Yeah. The naps come with lack of sleep.
All right, let's get to these.
That's what I
damn
specialize
picks.
in. Yeah, let's get to them.
All right, let's get into the picks. I know Zach, you don't have the
How many
fights up.
fights on this
so
card?
there's 6 main event, and then in total there's actually 13 total fights. But you know how that goes. It's 13 now. That's gonna dwindle to 10 maybe. Ben Rothwell's on the card.
Early start time.
Boo.
Yeah, for now.
I like Ben Rothwell.
Dude, you see
I
the
like
guy
Ben-
that he's fighting?
Yes, Chris Barnett.
Dude, that dude is the most athletic big man I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's
5'9", 74-inch reach. Ben Rothwell's 6'4", 78.5-inch reach. What a
That dude
ridiculous matchup.
Dude,
I
look,
want to see his cardio. That's
Look
what
at-
I really want to see.
look at Bennett's highlight reel, dude. It's hysterical. It is so funny.
Good gosh.
Yeah, I don't.
We'll have to check it out. When
I'm telling
Plus
you.
220 underdog on that. Is that worth some money? Can you do some crazy like roundhouse kicks?
He does yes, he does. That's what's funny. He does some
5'9" though.
crazy
Can he even
kicks and
reach?
stuff.
Can he even reach?
I don't know if I would put any money on him. But I'm excited to see him fight if I'm being honest with you.
All right, and then that's after that fight is the prelim main
Chris
event is
Barnett
Bill
isn't-
Algeo.
Chris Barnett isn't athletic at all, or he's not built athletically. I for some reason I was thinking
No,
it was
that's
like
what
because he was. Yeah, okay, that was the joke. Okay, I got you because I know
He's
he was scheduled
fat,
to fight
but he
someone
can
like
move.
huge. Okay,
No,
I'll have to watch it.
no. I'm telling you, watch
That's
it.
interesting.
You're gonna be like, dang. It's almost like you ever watch baseball and see Prince Fielder. Like he looked.
Oh, yeah,
fat,
yeah,
but
definitely.
He was fast as hell, Like that's how I kind of
the
feel
DC
with
gene
this
is
dude.
what I call it. Yeah, the DC gene.
Yes.
He's got the DC gene. Yeah. All right.
If
well,
DC's
I'll
on
check that out.
commentary, he's gonna have a lot to say about that. I have a feeling.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of Court McGee's on this card. Bill Algio's on the prelims here. He's taking on, I think it's like, is it Ricardo Ramos? That was a fight that was booked earlier. I think it got rebooked here. But yeah, the prelims aren't where it's at here. So let's just jump into it. They're opening this whole main card with Jack Hermansson and Edmen Shahbazyan, which, you know, sorry, Karen, that was supposed to happen last week on last card with UFC 262.
Doesn't matter. Banger.
It doesn't matter.
It was a banger.
It was an absolute banger. And yeah, they're going to open the card here. So that's awesome. So Jack Hermansson, one of my favorite fighters, one of my personal favorite fighters. This is his 13th UFC fight. We just saw him lose to Marvin Vettori. That was a tough one. He also has losses to Jared Cannonier, Thiago Santos. Those are massive names. But you might know that he'll hooked Kelvin Gastelum early round one. He's got I think it was a unanimous decision over Jacare Souza. So he's obviously been a guy who's proven himself. I don't ever think he'll really reach the top necessarily. And he takes a guy on in Edmen Shahbazyan, who's still like an up-and-coming prospect. We saw what happened to him when he went against Derek Brunson. But Edmen Shahbazyan has all the hype in the world. And I believe in the hype. I think he is really going to be a problem at some point in his career. He's still only 23 years old. I think it's just really hard to go from Derek Brunson to now Jack Hermansson, who's still in the top 10. That's going to be a very difficult fight. Obviously, Jack Hermansson's ground game is amazing. He's got incredible strength with his grips and his chokes. So I expect that to be a factor here because he's not a very great striker, but he's got cardio for days. So I do like Jack Hermansson in this fight. I just think it's a little bit too much for Edmen, just coming off of a tough Derek Brunson loss. So give me Jack Hermansson, and I'll take the submission on it.
Yeah, so when I saw this originally, this was booked probably a couple months ago, and I'm like, man, like they must. What did Edmen Shahbazyan do to the UFC brass? Like you have this young 22-year-old kid that everyone is super high on. That you're like, oh, they're gonna slowly work his way up. Well, then they give him Derek Brunson, and I think that was fair at the time because Derek Brunson wasn't on this run yet. But then you see how he got absolutely dismantled by Derek Brunson, and then you feed him to a guy who is arguably better. I think he's a better wrestler and grappler than Derek Brunson. So now, what is that sound?
I thought it was them. I think it's me. That was my mic. My bad. Jesus.
So
someone had a supercharge.
Like, same. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what did Shahbazyan do? Because now he's fighting a better grappler. I don't like this matchup at all for him. I mean, like you said, it's MMA. Anything could happen. He could possibly clip him. He's a good striker. But Jack Hermansson's tough as hell. He doesn't really get finished. I think that he's gonna grab a hold of him and be able to keep him down. I don't know if he'll sub him. I do like the sub. If it's plus money, I'm probably taking it. But Shahbazyan is tough. It took a lot of shots for Brunson to get him out of there. I don't think he's awful on the ground. I just don't think he's able to get up. I think he can defend submissions. I'm going to go Hermansson, but I'm going to go by decision. And I think it's going to be a dominant decision. Like there could be some 10-8 rounds in there, I think, in my opinion.
I'm going to go with Shahbazyan. I know this is like a huge. It seems like it's a big mistake, to put him back in there against someone that against another.
Is that me?
I'm not sure who it is.
On?
I think something's
is somebody doing work.
I think some chairs are getting moved or something. I don't know, but yeah, I know this is a big step up for Edmen Shahbazyan. Again. After the Brunson fight. But then again, you look at his resume. I mean, dude did go out there and just completely starch Brad Tavares, who I know has been on a skid, but at the same time was a ranked fighter just 2 years ago. I think he was a ranked fighter even when Edmen Shahbazyan knocked him out. But I think Edmen Shahbazyan still has a lot of potential. He's still young, and at that age, you develop so quickly. So quickly. You get better and better, like year after year, performance after performance. I like the fight. I like the fact that they throw people in the Shark Tank, to be honest with you. I mean, they did it with friggin' Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira when they were younger, and now look at them. They might take some losses, they might make some wins, but they'll eventually figure it out. It seems like, especially if they're at that level that young, or they just won't and they'll be out of the UFC in a couple years. But it'll be entertaining all nonetheless. But I think Shahbazyan takes this one. Hermansson does not wear shots well. And I think Shahbazyan's going to bring a whole lot of pressure and boxing. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think Hermansson's wrestling is going to be strong enough to really hold him down, especially if that's what Shahbazyan has been focused on improving in the past, however long since his last fight. But yeah, I'm going to go with Shahbazyan via second round KO.
Yeah, and just saying with the last fight Hermansson had against Vettori, like it was honestly a miracle that he didn't get finished in that fight because it was early round one where he almost got finished and he somehow just kept alive throughout every round that he pretty much lost every round, but he just kept fighting back. So the chin's not 100% there, but he is a durable guy if he can last, and he has cardio for days. Like he's that guy who's like round 4 or 5, he can turn it up. Granted, this is only a 3-round fight, so that will play a factor, but it's going to be a good fight. This is an awesome fight to have on the card, especially to open it.
Yeah, so, Jackie Boy's mom, great woman, taking care of him from a very young age, probably since he was born. She's raised him to be the man that he is today. So you can't go against her man's son. So I'm going Jack Hermansson. I'll go decision.
Good man.
I love it. Carrie's got bars, yo. Carrie's just got straight up bars.
Listen, when you sit here for the first half of the show, you got time to come up with things.
There's levels to this shit, dude. I was like, he could be like his dad's name's Herman, and it's Hermansson, but he just broke that shit down even further.
I might have used that before.
It's possible.
It is possible.
Kieran, do you want to break down the next one?
Let me pull it up real quick.
I have it if not.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead, take this one. I'll get the next one after that.
Yeah, this one's David Dvorak taking on Raulian Paiva. I don't really know these guys too well, but for Dvorak, he is 19-3 pro record, 2-0 in the UFC. He's coming off some decent wins. I mean, he beat Jordan Espinoza. I know Espinoza no longer with the UFC. He is on a 15-fight win streak. Obviously that extends outside of the UFC, but that is pretty insane to have a 15-fight win streak. Still 2-0 in the UFC. Obviously, you like to see that. His opponent, Raulian Paiva, he is 20-3 pro record, but only 2-2 in the UFC. So he's kind of had a little bit of struggles. Kai France is a guy that he lost to. It was a split decision, which was super close. And he also lost to Bontarine, who we just saw fight. And that's obviously, round 1 TKO loss, but we see Bontarine's very legit. So don't want to knock him too much. Can you guys still hear that? Is that coming through the mic at all?
Just a little bit. It's not bad, though.
All right, just checking. All right, so this dude, Paiva, he has finished 4 of his last 6 wins. As I said, those 2 losses are not too bad. So I actually kind of like him in this one. He's going to have the reach advantage. He's going to have a 3-inch size advantage. This is at flyweight, so it's the smaller guys in there. So give me Paiva, and I will go with decision.
How's Paiva finish his fights? I don't remember. Is it TKOs or is it subs?
He has, throughout his whole career, he's got 4 TKOs, 3 subs, and then 13 decisions.
It's so tough. What?
No, I just saw Carrie's face whenever you said 13 decisions. It was my exact same thought.
It's a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Paiva. I've seen him fight a few times. 25, man. The guys are always explosive. I guess I'm gonna go Paiva by decision as well. I think it's at 25, man. The fight's gonna be a good fight though. What are they doing though, Steve? Are they
it's coming back a little bit.
I have no idea what's happening. Send help.
Send help. Yeah. No, I'm obviously a 15-fight win streak is very impressive. Paiva's been up and down, but the 2 guys that he's lost to are pretty solid guys. I mean, Kai France and Rodrigo Bontarine. Those guys fought each other recently, and it was a ranked matchup. Also, Bontarine looked pretty solid this past week. Still, though, I'm going to probably have to rock with David Dvorak. 2-0 in the UFC. I really want to see some new prospects emerge at flyweight. We got Askar Askarov, Davidson Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno, and then there's a gap between the rest of the division. So the more prospects that I can see go up and get something done, you know, I'm going to be all for. So I'm going to go with Dvorak via decision.
Yeah, despite Dvorak being on that crazy long win streak, I gotta say, don't be naive on Paiva. So I'm gonna go Paiva, but I'm gonna take it sub. I'll go away from the decisions. Take him sub.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm muting myself when I'm not talking, just because if it's coming through, I don't want it to sound like shit.
You're all good. And I said I was going to take the next one, so I'll go and go there. We have a women's featherweight matchup: Felicia Spencer
Your
versus
favorite.
Norma Dumont Viana. Pain is what I have here. I mean, Felicia Spencer got a title shot. I mean, she did well. She survived in there against Amanda and got blasted
She
for the most part.
survived.
But
Getting well
Yeah.
is just
Didn't do
surviving
well.
at this point.
Yeah. But at this point, it's just like if she can't make 135 pounds, I think she's probably getting cut soon. And this is one of those fights that's just like, okay, if you can't win this one, we're probably going to cut you, because at this point, I mean, even Amanda Nunes isn't too keen on defending a belt to get against a bunch of scrubs. I mean, the biggest person in the UFC after Cyborg left at 145 was Megan Anderson. And Megan Anderson went out there and wasn't competitive in the least bit with Amanda Nunes. Felicia Spencer was more so, but she needs to drop down to 135, I think, to maintain a place in the UFC. I think she wins this fight rather easily, though, to be honest with you. Norma Dumont Viana. Who? You know, I feel like I just said Jim Jones, you know, but yeah, I think Felicia Spencer's a decent fighter. I think she's a top 10 fighter at 135. It's just, it's Felicia Spencer fight.
I'm literally Felicia Spencer decision, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's going to be a decision for Felicia Spencer.
Yeah,
It's going to be a decision or submission.
Yeah, and I'll add in, so Spencer had weight cut issues at 135. Norma Dumont, and I think in her last 2 attempts at bantamweight, missed both times. So it's like these girls are kind of just stuck in this 145 division, which is literally, 4 or 5 fighters. So it's and Dumont's only 5-1 pro record, 1-1 in the UFC. At least Felicia Spencer, I mean, 8-2 pro record, but she was an Invicta champ. Like
Norma Dumont got stretched by Megan Anderson as well.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw what happened to Megan Anderson when she went against Amanda Nunes. So yeah, I think Spencer, she's like a pretty big favorite in this. I think it's like a little over -200. She just has a better background, more experience, better level of competition by far. So it's easy. Yeah, I'll go Spencer. I'll switch it up a little bit. I'll take the submission, but that's about it.
Dumont is thick.
Yeah,
random thought.
Facts.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty. The consensus here is Spencer. Not that I know much. I guess you could go with that store, Spencer's. There's always some crazy, wild stuff you find in there. Some good stuff. You never know what you're gonna find. So we'll go with Spencer and decision.
There we go.
Spencer's getting freaky.
Easy.
Getting freaky.
There we go.
She's gonna put the freak on Dumont.
Yeah. Next up, we have a heavyweight matchup between Justin Tafa and Jared Vanderaa.
Oh my god.
Vanderaa. Hey, I'll tell you what, Justin Tafa.
No, yeah.
He's been having a pretty interesting, whether he's getting stretched or whether he's stretching someone, you know. But he went out last time against Carlos Felipe, and there was a
Good
split
fight.
decision. Good fight. He's been entertaining, and that's one thing you can say about a lot of these Polynesian fighters that just have these giant blockheads and eat shots and give shots, and they all hit fucking hard as hell. If we're being honest, they hit hard. I mean, I'm excited to see Justin Tafa fight. This is, I think, like the second time he's been put on a main card, and I understand he is a very exciting fighter, but he is in no way, shape, or form at any sort of elite level at the heavyweight division. And Jared Vanderaa, I have absolutely never heard of him before. I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name right.
You remember the fight, though. You would remember
I will remember the fight.
He
Wow.
got destroyed by Spivak or Spivak, however you pronounce that. The ground and pound was unbelievable. The
I
ref
do remember
stopped
this.
it like 30 strikes way too late. He looked terrible.
Earlier this year, right? Yeah, he got destroyed by Spivak. Yeah, Justin Tafa is probably going to knock him out. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I got Tafa via first round knockout. That'll be a fun fight.
This fight, I'm not gonna say it blows because I do like Justin Tafa, but Jared Vanderaa, easily the weirdest guy, and awful. And he trains with Sam Alvey, so you should definitely hate him. He is terrible. I cannot stand Jared Vanderaa. He is probably the worst heavyweight in the UFC. He is that bad. He also paints his toenails, which is weird as hell. Jared Vanderaa, you were
or his daughter
fired
paints his toenails,
ago.
Zach. Goodness gracious, Zach.
He was fired 2 fights ago. Jared Vanderaa, you are dog shit, and this is you're gonna be on. You are gonna be on the you're gonna be on the You're Fired segment on Saturday. I can guarantee you that. This
Or
is your
Justin
last
Tafa
fight in the UFC. Yeah, it's loser leaves town. But if Jared Vanderaa wins, I am gonna riot because I cannot stand that guy. I'm going Justin Tafa knockout.
Vanderaa, his Dana White Contender Series win was a round 1 TKO of Harry Hunsucker.
Yeah, and we saw.
That's about it. Yeah, he's terrible. So yeah, this is going to be a bad look for Jared Vanderaa. The only thing here is, and it's obviously worth noting, Tafa comes in 6 feet tall. Vanderaa 6'4". Tafa's reach is only 74 inches. Vanderaa has an 80-inch reach, and he finishes a lot of his fights.
The thing is, Vanderaa doesn't know how he doesn't know how to use anything.
Right.
He has a size advantage. He is not smart enough to know how to use that like Justin Tafa is gonna box the shit out of him and just knock him out flat. Like, it's gonna be bad.
I do agree with you. I'm just saying it's worth noting because 6-inch reach, man, that's very significant. And a 4-inch size advantage, like the dude's got power, and it's heavyweights. Anyone can win a heavyweight fight.
Except Jared Vanderaa.
All right. Well, I am taking
letting that
Tafa,
chopper sing right now, man. Zach is letting the chopper sing.
Dude, Tafa's 4-2. He's only got 6 pro
him.
fights.
Tough scene.
I'm going Tafa KO.
Thank you.
He's only got 6 fights. He's gonna knock him the fuck out. It's gonna happen.
Reach advantage, size advantage, more experience. Dana White Contender Series, but I'm taking Tafa KO.
Carrie, I swear to God, if you take Jared Vanderaa, I'm burning.
I won't take him. I won't take him.
Do it.
I think Tafa, like the Mafia, is going to bury him like Hoffa. He won't be able to find Vanderaa after this fight. He'll be gone. We'll take Tafa KO.
Oh, dang. We got 4 Tafa KOs.
4 Tafa KOs, which means the exact opposite is going to happen.
Jesus.
No, you guys said that shit. You guys said that shit about Chris Weidman was going to now beat Uriah Hall. And what happened?
Hey.
Just saying.
Vanderaa with a
we
vendetta.
didn't get to see it really happen, you know. I don't know. Chris Weidman's still my boy. No, playing. But next up, we have a very interesting main event and co-main event too. But the co-main event is a women's strawweight title fight. Oh, title eliminator. My fault. Yan Xionan and Carla Esparza. I mean,
good fight.
Dana's got to be happy that there's another Chinese prospect in there. You know, biggest market. He's really trying to tap into that. And going up against Carla Esparza, which is wild that Carla Esparza might be 1 win away from a rematch against Rose Namajunas, which was the title fight for the inaugural women's strawweight belt. How crazy is that? That's absolutely insane. I mean,
we live in a simulation, as you say.
We do live in a simulation. This is ridiculous. Charles Oliveira is the fucking champion. We definitely live in a simulation. Can't convince me otherwise. But yeah, Yan Xionan and Carla Esparza. I think Yan Xionan is legit. Is legit. I still do think there's a big gap between Rose, Joanna, and Wei Li and the rest of the weight class. But we'll see. I think if there's a prospect to break through that barrier to Yan Xionan, I think Carla Esparza has emerged as one of the top ladies in that second tier. You know. Which is insane because I didn't think after losing to Randa fucking Marcos that she would be able to reinvent herself and become a decent striker and good at wrestling, even though she got dominated grappling by I forget who it was. I'm rambling, but Yeah, Xionan, I think, has the opportunity to go up to that next level, and I got her via decision. It'll be an interesting fight, and I think the winner of this gets the next title shot. I mean, Xiaonan's coming off of wins over Angela Hill, Carolina, and Claudia Gadelha. Obviously, those last two are really over the hill. Angela Hill's a pretty solid win, even though I don't like Angela Hill either. But yeah, this is a big step up in competition for her. I got her via decision, and I think she's going to contend for the title and probably lose. But yeah.
Well, if Yan Chonan too, if she wins in Zhang Weili was your champ. I mean, and then that is in China.
They want to fight each other as well.
Right. They were like, that would have been massive.
Yeah. Zhang Weili's got to learn how to deal with a crowd booing her. That's true. Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, I don't know. Esparza's looked pretty good as of late. She's put on some good performances. She can wrestle really well. It's just tough. Yan Xiaonan is looked really good as well. I don't really know what to choose because I kind of want to go with the vet in Carla Esparza, someone who's been around the block, fought everyone. She looks good lately. Screw it, I'll go different. I'm gonna go Esparza decision.
Yeah, this is a great fight. So Yan Chonan, so she's 13-1 pro record, 6-0 in the UFC. In her last 12 alone, she's 11-0-1 with the no contest. It was like an accidental head collision in 2016. So she's just on a mega win streak. The names aren't necessarily there. She has the Angela Hill win. She has a Claudia Gadelha win, which is pretty solid. It's just with Esparza, she's really turned this corner here. It's like, do you buy into that hype that she's kind of like this newfound fighter? She's obviously still a great wrestler, but she has had a lot of split decision wins with Marina and with Michelle Watterson. Both of those could have went either way. So, you take those out of the equation.
I think what's impressive about those two wins too is she obviously had to strike a little bit to stay in those fights. So I think that's what's kind of good with Esparza, to handle the striking.
Yeah, I mean, the Marina win is obviously looking great right now, but I thought Marina won that fight for sure. But the other names on Esparza's list too are Alexa Grasso and it's like Vernon Handaroba, which is like a tough competitor as well. So it's good names on her resume. She has the more experience, the higher level of competition. But I do think Yan Xiaonan on this win streak, I think she can get it done. She's a very good striker. The takedown defense is 75%, pretty good. Claudia took her down a few times. If she's able to just keep Esparza away at distance, I think she can win this fight. Not very easily, but she should be able to get it done. So I'll take Yan Xiaonan, and we'll go decision on it.
You know what this makes me really sad about, though, as well? Tatiana Suarez. Carla Esparza is a wrestler, and I was at that fight in Dallas in like September of 2018, I think it was, at 228. Tatiana Suarez just ragdolled Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
Just ragdolled her, just threw her around and then TKO'd her. And Tatiana Suarez hasn't fought in forever, and I think she has the capabilities of being a champion at that weight class, a dominant one as well. I mean, me and my friends joke that she's a Tatiana the Eagle Suarez because she just absolutely dominates and wrestles everybody that she fought against. But that one's a tough one. Also, Carla Esparza, I was like that. She is coming off of 2 split decision victories.
Close.
One over Michelle Watterson that I don't know if she won, and then the other one over Marina Rodriguez.
I think Marina won that one too.
Yeah, that Marina won that one as well. It's tough, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Carrie?
I just wanted to start off by saying that I'm surprised Zach took Esparza because she's got par in her name, and you never hit par.
Oh,
shots fired.
That's okay. Yeah, I got so mad the other day I broke my 8-iron.
See, you can't
thing your wife doesn't
your head,
listen.
man.
That's okay. I'll get a new one.
But Xiaonan, I think, like the flatbread naan, she's going to fall flat against Esparza. Esparza is actually Spanish for Spartan, so I think she's just going to come in that octagon. And this is Esparza, Xionan. I don't know how to say her name, but I'm picking Esparza, the Spartan decision.
I love it.
All right, we're split on it. I like that.
Steve,
want to go? Let's go to the main event. Jeez. We got Rob Font taking on Cody No Love Garbrandt. This is an awesome fight. Rob Font, obviously New England cartel guy. He was one of our first interviews on the show, which was awesome. So
He was our first interview.
He was the very first one. Yeah. Well, I went back. I rewatched the Marlon Moraes win that he had. Obviously, super impressive. He was able to survive like the incredible ground pressure that Moraes was giving him. He didn't get into any dangerous submission attempts. He was able to get the fight standing, and then he just unloaded bombs on Marlon Moraes. Got a good win there. He's just honestly, a very well-rounded fighter. He can grapple. He can take the fight to the ground if he wants to, or if he wants to just stand up and trade, he can do that too. 18-4 pro record. This is a dude who's just been flying under the radar. 3-fight win streak over Sergio Pettis. Ricky Simone, awesome win. And then, of course, the Marlon Moraes win, which we just saw not too long ago. He does have a couple of tough losses. He did lose to Rafael Assunção. He did lose to Pedro Munoz. So when the level of competition starts to get a little bit higher, that's when he kind of folds. But I do like him on this win streak right here. Cody Garbrandt, obviously we talk about him having incredible boxing skills. This is a dude who came right into the UFC, went on an awesome 6-fight win streak, got a couple title shots, fell flat, to be honest. Lost 3 in a row, all TKOs. Gets an awesome KO victory over Assunção, who we were just talking about. And now we'll see where he stands. I mean, this guy can obviously get it done just throwing haymakers. He finishes a ton of fights. He's obviously a great boxer. So I think it's going to be a banger, but I think Rob Font just being more well-rounded, having the ability to take it to the ground. We don't really see Cody do that, even though he does have a pretty decent wrestling background. So I am riding with Rob Font in this one. I think it's going to be an awesome fight. I'm going to go with Font by decision, though. No finish.
So, I'm going to make my pick, and then I got to head out, guys. I'm going to be late, so make sure you take us out. Do the outro good. Make sure you mention sheath underwear, all those great things. But this fight, I'm not going to be upset either way. I've always been a Garbrandt fan, and then obviously Rob Font. I love the way he fights as well. It's one of those things where if Cody has the chin thing figured out, he poses a real threat. His boxing is probably the best. Well, he's one of the best boxers in the UFC. But the thing is, Rob Font has a great chin, and he can return fire. If Cody gets too over emotional, he's going to get clipped, and Rob Font has insane power. We've seen it. His power is insane. And I think Cody is as good as anyone. He just fights too emotional. I'm hoping Rob gets it done, but like I said, I'm not going to be upset either way because I love watching both these guys fight. And I've been a fan of Garbrandt really since his Dominic Cruz performance. I think that's one of the smoothest performances in UFC history. But I'm going to ride Rob Font in this one, and I'm actually going to go KO. I think the only way that Cody really loses is when he gets too emotional and gets clipped. I think that if it goes any other way, Cody Garbrandt wins. I think that Rob Font has to be a guy that kind of rattles Garbrandt a little bit, and then Garbrandt fights with his chin up, and you don't want to get clipped by Rob Font or you're going out. So I'm going to go Rob Font because I think that his chin is good enough to withstand anything Cody throws at him. Gets Cody pissed. Cody starts throwing wild, and Rob Font connects. And then we see ourselves a new contender up there right after Sandhagen. So winner of this fight, though, definitely in talks for the belt next. So I'm super excited. Love both guys. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be fireworks, but I don't think it's going 5 rounds. I think this fight ends early. But guys, it's been great. Thanks for holding it down while I'm doing my other duties. And I will see you guys on the other side.
Thanks, Coach.
See you later, Coach. Yeah. This fight's insane. I'm going to be honest with you. This fight's insane because I think this is the first time that you're going to see someone. I mean, ever since TJ Dillashaw really challenged Cody Garbrandt's boxing ability, but
yeah.
TJ Dillashaw usually tries to do it with combinations, but it really just turns into boxing matches with Cody Garbrandt. He's so damn quick and technical. I just think it comes down to are his fundamentals refined now? Because he's always had the natural ability, it's just he sees red whenever he gets clipped. And then also he's a little bit wild because he does rely on his speed and power a lot. Rob Font, very fundamentally sound, very in touch. And this is going to be a true test has Cody Garbrandt truly improved, or did he just do what he always did against Assunção? And he got away with it against Assunção because Assunção couldn't clip him early on, I don't know. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I think Cody is unbelievably talented. I really do. I think he's absolutely ridiculous. And I think I think he had an era, like a slot in time to be a really dominant champion at 135. Now I think there's too many guys out there that are very technical strikers, such as like a Corey Sandhagen, who I think is a nightmare for him. I think he's a nightmare for anybody on the feet, you know? But when it comes to Garbrandt, I think he'll get it done. And I want to see him get it done because I think him being at the top of 135, not as champion, but like, or as champion, but being in that upper echelon at 135 is better for the division. Like he's got star quality, and he hits like a fucking Mack truck at 5'7", 135 pounds. I don't know how a 5'7", 135 pound man can hit that fucking hard, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go with Garbrandt, and I think this is gonna be a knockout regardless. So I'm gonna go the first round KO for Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, I mean, this is an awesome fight as we talk about it. And then we have, the Dillashaw-Sandhagen fight coming up, which is going to be awesome. And there's just a lot going on in this division. But for Rob Font, too, and I hate to always bring up the reach advantage, but he has a 6.5-inch reach advantage. That's massive.
Everybody does, though. Cody's got small arms.
He does. So, yeah, if he can get inside the distance, like he can land a bomb for sure. And that's where it's got to be like Rob Font really needs to just keep him away. And then if he wants to, take it to the ground, he's just got to be extra careful. But I think having that background to be able to grapple, like he has 4 submissions on record, he can get it done. Cody, I know like they talk about like he used to wrestle back in high school, but he didn't really do it at a collegiate level. And he was All-American linebacker in high school too. So obviously he's very athletic. We know that. Super strong guy. It's just like, I don't know who's going to come out on top here. I'm obviously a little biased. Rob Font, New England Cartel guy, he was on the show, but I really truly believe, either guy is capable of winning this fight. And I just think Rob, with the more tools, I think he can definitely finish this one.
Definitely.
Yeah, like you said, Steve, there's, Rob Font so well-rounded. You never know which version you're going to get, the Helvetica Hellmonger, the Times New Roman Soldier, the Wingdings Warrior. But I think he's going to take this one. I think Rob Font KO is almost everybody said. Kieran the Outlier.
Carrie, do you remember was it the Times New Roman Soldier? That was the nickname that we gave him, right? That
was the one he liked. I don't think he heard, because I gave him that option before we started the interview. I was like, I got this little thing. I'm going to say all these names. And I think he only heard Times New Roman Soldier, but yeah, I had others.
I mean, that's a sick nickname.
I don't think he got it.
He definitely didn't change his nickname. We're not going to hear it on Saturday night, but that's okay. All right. I mean, that's all the picks that we have in here. Anything else, fellas?
I don't think so, but if you don't mind, since I'm on camera, I only get to do this so often. You mind if
I take us out? Dude,
yeah,
take us out,
man.
By all means.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to this episode of Coffee and KOs presented by the MMA Stooges, UFC Fight Night 27, Font vs. Garbrandt. Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Sheath. Like Eminem said, knees weak, balls are sweaty. There's chafing on my legs already. Get yourself a pair of Sheath underwear. Use promo code Coffee and KOs. Get 20% off your entire purchase. And we'll see you next time.